What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about some of the most common football plays that you need to learn. So we're going to break down the names of these plays, what your reads would be, how you should run your routes, pretty much everything you need to know about these offensive sets. Now, fellas, the first passing concept that we're going to go over is called an Ohio concept. So an Ohio concept is really, you guys might have a different name for it in your playbook, but this is really something that's in every single offensive playbook. It's a quick game passing concept with a mandatory outside release fade. Some people refer to that as an MOR, and then a 5-yard out from the slot. So with all these play concepts that we're going to discuss today, we're going to draw it out, then we're going to talk about, what coverage it would work well against, what your reads would be, and how you want to ultimately structure this play. So the quarterback is here, this box in the center is going to be obviously our center, and then this T right here is going to be our running back staying into block on this play. Slot receiver, we're just going to have it mirrored on this specific concept, but he's going to be running just a simple 5-yard out. The Z receiver is going to be running a mandatory outside release fade, so I'm going to write this here, MOR. That's regardless of where the DB is playing, he has to release to the outside because our goal is to turn the defender's back if he runs at the fade. We don't want to take an inside release because that DB on the outside could run with the fade and also have eyes on this slot receiver, and we'll talk about why that's important in a second. Then on the other side, obviously it's just mirrored. So we have this mandatory outside release fade, and then we have a 5-yard out from the slot. So we like this passing concept versus a cover 2 defense, you guys. So cover 2 is when we have 2 deep safeties over the top, right? So free safety, strong safety. I'll draw a Will backer, Mike backer, Sam. And then we have corners who are going to be sitting and playing the flats. So their zone is the flats. Safety is going to be in charge of the deep half. That's ultimately what a cover 2 defense is trying to do. Now, we love this play versus cover 2 simply because it's an easy read on this corner. We could work this versus cover 4. We could work this versus cover 3, but it's great versus cover 2 because as a quarterback on this play, your read is this DB on the outside. If he starts to backpedal, right? So like, let's say maybe it looks like cover 2 pre-snap, but he backpedals and he's going to be in charge of this deep fourth and it turns into cover 4. Easy play, I just throw the 5-yard out. But let's say this corner sits in the flats because that's what he does during cover 2. We obviously don't have the 5-yard out. We would throw the fade, but we got a safety coming over the top, so we're going to throw this fade on a line. They call that a whole shot throw in between the safety and the corner in a cover 2 defense. So that is an Ohio concept. It's one of the best plays that you guys will have in your playbook when it comes to quick game passing concepts. Now, fellas, before we discuss another play concept, if you are a quarterback or wide receiver watching this video and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps this offseason, you guys. So, fellas, if you want to sign up, go to that very first link in the description below of this video. That's where you can get all the information and get your spot. We limit spots at our camps simply because we don't want to have a million people there to where we can't work with you individually and one-on-one. A lot of camps make that mistake. They have a million people there and it's just, let's go as fast as we can. That's not what we do. We break down every single mistake that you make, tell you how to correct it, take things slow, but that's why we limit spots. So guys, if you want to get a spot, they will sell out here very, very soon. Very first link in that description below. We'll be coming out to San Francisco, California next, then Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Columbia, South Carolina, then we'll be heading out to Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. Then we'll be coming out to Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some information? Very first link in that description below. We'd love to see you there. Now, fellas, the next passing concept that we're going to be going over is something called a smash concept. We're going to be talking about like the basic version of smash, but then we're going to talk about something called a full field progression that you will see more commonly at the next level of football. Like I'm talking like, really high level varsity programs and especially college programs, because smash is pretty universal. Every single offense will have a smash concept, but variations can be applied based on the coverage that you'll see, and that's what we're going to break down. So let's just draw the smash on the left, because smash is like a single side, I guess you could say. A lot of times with passing concepts too, you guys, like we're discussing like mirrored concepts like that Ohio concept we broke down earlier. However, that's not usually how passing concepts go. Like you'll have one passing concept on the left side of the field and then another one on the right side of the field. So based on the coverage that you see as a quarterback, you know which side to work. If you're a receiver, okay, I'm running this concept, that's cover 3 beater. Okay, I see cover 3, I know I can expect the ball. So that's kind of how things go, but we're trying to keep it simple so you guys have a good understanding. But this play will be a full field progression. I'll talk about why. So a smash concept is where you have a hitch on the outside, or you could also have a whip route on the outside. I've seen some offenses also do a slant on the outside, but we're going to keep it simple and just do a 5-yard hitch. So it's a 5-yard hitch. leverage. And then your slot receiver is going to be running like a 10 to 12 yard corner route. And you could have this mirrored both sides, but we'll get to the backside here in a second. So we love this passing concept versus that same defense that we discussed earlier, cover 2, right? So remember, cover 2, we have a free safety over the top, strong safety over the top. Corners are going to be here. Corners sitting in the flats. You got your Will, got your Mike, and you got your Sam. So we know that the corner is probably going to sit with this hitch route at about 5. So we want to throw this corner route. As a quarterback, I'm not throwing this thing with some touch. I'm driving the ball in that hole shot, just like that Ohio concept. So I drive the ball, bam, we got it there. But there's a version of cover 2 that can generally stop this smash concept, and that would be something called Tampa 2. So that's where the backside read comes into play. So this safety, if we run a lot of smash concepts from an offensive perspective, he might start, or the defense might like coach him to do this. Hey, line up outside leverage of the slot. So if he's outside leverage, I probably don't like that corner route because it's going to be running right into him. So what could we add backside to this to defeat that? And when he's outside leverage, that's generally when a defense will go Tampa 2 because they're not so threatened by the middle. Because Tampa 2 is when the middle linebacker drops to cover this middle of the field zone. Because remember, in cover 2, their jobs are the deep halves. That leaves the middle of the field open. The 2 weak points versus cover 2 is going to be the whole shot and then also the middle. But Tampa 2 prevents us from attacking the middle. So this is a great backside variation that I like to smash that could combat this. Your slot receiver is going to be running something called a split route. So a split route is literally where you just run underneath the outside backer, and if the Mike backer stays, it would be over the Mike backer, but essentially it's just a backside, you're splitting the 2 high safeties, okay? And then your Z receiver is going to be running just a 5-yard drag, okay? So this is great because in cover 2, if this dude is outside leverage, that doesn't guarantee that it's Tampa 2. Tampa 2 is more of a post-snap read. You have a pre-snap read on the coverage, and then you have a post-snap read. So you snap the ball, okay, they changed what they did, whatever the case may be, right? So let's say it's not Tampa 2, the Mike stays. If that safety's way over there, as a quarterback, I just get my eyes over the split route because nobody's there. That safety's shooting way out wide. I got that split route easy. Let's say he's outside leverage. Okay, I don't like the corner. I come back to the split route. Mike's taking it away. Guess what we got? We got this drag underneath with literally nobody there because the Mike bailed. You just got to make sure that you hit the drag soon enough to where this outside backer maybe doesn't make a play. Chances are he'll be occupied with the concept on the left side of the field. So that's a smash concept over here, you guys, and this is a backside split and drag to add to it to defeat different variations of this cover 2 defense. So fellas, this next passing concept is going to be out of a 3-by-1 set, or you could think of this as like a trips left formation, right? So this is going to be a Mills concept, which is like any concept. There are a lot of ways that you could run Mills. There are a lot of variations of it. This is like kind of, I would say, like the more like basic routine one that you'll see out of 3-by-1. But generally, it's anytime when you have a deep post, a dig, and something underneath like a drag. In this case, we're going to be working a whip route. So we'll talk about what coverage this is good against in a second. But what we got is my outside receiver here is going to be running a deep skinny post. So he's breaking it about 12. Slot receiver, so the number 2 receiver, is going to be running like a 10-yard basic. So that's pretty much a dig or a 10-yard in where he's dropping his hips. They call it a basic because that means he's getting straight across. It's not a speed cut where he's rounding, and it's not a post dig, okay? Then your number 3 receiver is going to be running a whip route. So he's going to go up 3, break to the slant 3, sell the slant, then whip back out to the outside. Z on the backside, he could either run a fade or he could also run like a clear out post, but his job is just to get the corner on that side of the field out of the passing concept. So this play is great because we could get a really good high-low read or a low-high read where you're looking to throw the whip, then to the dig, then to the post, or like I said, high-low where you want to throw the post or the dig, then to the whip. So it kind of depends on what you're doing here. So we love this versus a cover 4 defense, and I'll explain why. So cover 4, obviously it's 2 high safeties. Corners, remember we briefly talked about this before, are going to be bailing. Safety's got their 4th of the field. Corner's going to be bailing. Your Will backer will probably be head up over the number 2. You'll have the Mike backer shifted over and then the Sam backer right here. So generally speaking, your read on this, if you want to high-low the passing concept, is going to be this free safety right here. If he starts to backpedal, right? Starts to backpedal. I'm going to look to throw this dig probably early in the first window. If that first window dig is taken away by the will backer, then what would I look down to throw? I'd look to throw the whip because there's nobody over there. Remember, in cover 4, the will's kind of responsible for that like hook to curl, almost flat type zone, right? The Mike backer could play a role, but that's not necessarily, I would say, your primary read key, and we'll talk about that a little bit more detail in a second. Now, if I was going to low high it, my read would be the will. So pre-snap, or post-snap, if I snap the ball and I see this will start to run with this, I'm going to look to throw the whip. Let it develop. That Mike backer will probably crash on the slant, and then we got him with nobody over there. The will sits in the flats. I look to throw this dig. For whatever reason, that safety crashes on the dig hard, then I throw the deep post over the top. So that is a very easy read. That's why I love a Mills concept. You could run this out of 2x2 where you put this slot over here, and instead of a whip, he runs a drag. That's generally better for low-high progressions because that will probably won't sit. He'll probably run with the dig, and that drag will be wide open. If the Mike backer runs with the drag, guess what we got? We got the dig right there in that second window instead of on the first window. So this is a Mills concept, great concept that you all need to learn.